Oh, right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, happy New Year to everyone. Hope everyone had a nice, safe, kind of easy New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I'm your host Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound, and now that we have 2020 and the holiday season firmly in our rear view mirrors, how about we get back to business? And what I mean by that is going back to the banks, getting some coins, going to coin shops and shows. Hopefully, we're going to see some shows this year and everything kind of normalizes and stabilizes, as it used to be. You remember the good old days back in 2019 when we all used to give each other hugs and handshakes? It can be that way. It really can. But it's Saturday morning, first weekend out of the gate in 2021. Hopefully you guys are ready to do some hunting. We got the Pocket Change Market Report, the first inaugural edition of the new year. And I guess today's theme, we'll revisit it once again, is, you know what? As cruddy and crappy as a coin may look, don't pass it by. I want you to put that puppy right up to your eye. I don't want you to touch your eyeball with that crusty coin. But make sure you leave no stone unturned, because some of the lousiest condition coins that you could come across might earn you a few shekels here and there. We have a pretty good selection on our list today of those type of coins that I wanted to share. So for those of you that are first timers here on the PCMR report, it's real simple. If you found it in Pocket Change or in your dad's or mom's piggy bank and you cherry picked something from a coin shop or show, all right, we're going to highlight it here, okay? Every single sale is from eBay. Every single coin is raw. There's generally no graded coins in the mix. The big idea is that you find the coins and then you turn and flip them and make some money right away. There's no need to send these coins out to PCGS or NGC or even Annex, even though that's the cheapest option. Keep that submission money in your pocket and just go ahead and sell some of these coins. Now, generally, the coins that I share with you on the PCMR are typically kind of like your lower end varieties and errors. These are coins that I would say, on its face, not even worth grading to begin with. Now, there are a few outliers to the whole thing. There are people that have sold some pretty rare errors, and then you just know that they're legitimate, okay, because you've seen them over and over again. It's really hard to duplicate on a counterfeit level. But generally, those coins will all be slabbed anyways. But, there is a huge component of collectors. There's a huge fellowship for the minor errors and varieties. You would be surprised. And as a result, the money follows. All right, so all of the sales are from the last 24 to 48 hours. Let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I always seem to like to, start off the day with a really nice off-center coin. All right, so this is a 2000 Lincoln Memorial cent. This one is approximately 10% off center. I'll say it again once per video like I normally do. Okay, off center coins are a very wide and a very deep collected series of errors. Okay, and the biggest takeaway from this is that if your coin exhibits a full date and a mint mark, those are going to be the most desirable. Okay, there are certain dates that are more rare than others. Okay, I guess we could effectively call those key dates for the error type. This particular date is not really all that rare. However, the condition is pretty immaculate for what it is. It is a copper-coated zinc coin, so take that into consideration too. But this one right here is sold for $10.25, and the same seller had a number of these sold. I believe it was Telstar coin. He is a kind of like a staple on eBay when it comes to errors and varieties. But Telstar coin always takes tremendous photos, and he sells some pretty top-notch errors, okay, and all at affordable prices. However, these are coins, again, that are worth money, and they will always have a fellowship of collectors that want to get into a very unique looking error, and that's off-center struck coins. All right, so the next one that we have here is going to follow a theme throughout the video in which coins that look less than desirable at first glance might be hiding some pretty remarkable things. Okay, so here's another 2000 Lincoln Memorial cent. As you can tell, there is an absence of some sort of mint mark here. So that tells you it's a Philadelphia struck coin. However, if you guys know your varieties, the year 2000 is one of those dates where you could find a wide AM coin. Now, this one right here, you can see the gap between the A and M, all right, which means they're not touching. All right, that's the type of reverse that you want to see for this variety type. The year 98 and 2000 are two of the most common dates for the wide AM. Of course, as you guys know, there's only 3 dates that are relevant for the wide AM type reverse. 99 is the rarest, and those coins sell for pretty good money still, even after so many years. But this coin right here is sold for $14.50. Again, the condition is not all that fantastic, and these have risen up in value here lately. The few others that I did see on eBay have sold for between $10 and $15, where probably a year ago, these were available in this same condition for about $5. All right, so we're beginning to see a little bit more interest for these coins, okay? But the prices still remain low. But again, if they look like this, more than likely they're being passed over because of their condition. All right, speaking of condition, this one is no beauty, that's for sure. It's a 72 Philadelphia Lincoln Memorial cent. Obviously, it has and exhibits a rim clip. All right, so it's pretty easy. Rim clips are some of the most easiest, most readily available errors to find in circulation today. You could find some with 2 clips, 3 clips, and it's all gravy because these are coins that you definitely want to pull out as soon as you find them. For example, this one sold for $9.50. So you can imagine if you found 2 or 3 of these in a full box of $25 of Lincolns, I mean, you're good as golden. I mean, you've essentially turned 1 cent into 900 to 1,000 times face. It's pretty good, if I say so. And look at the condition. It really doesn't matter. People will buy them. It's got a full date, and that's what matters. All right, here's another 72. So we had a pair of 2000s. Now we got a pair of 72s on the list. Now this one right here features an uncentered Broadstrike. All right, so you can see the big old fat lip is what I call it, but this has a big old fat rim right here. You know, there was an absence of the collar when this thing was struck. So the metal flow has to go somewhere. And it's off-centered too. So you have pretty full devices on all the edge on the corresponding opposite edge of where the Broadstrike occurs. But this one right here, pretty nice coin. Condition is okay. You know, it's got some red in there, a few carbon spots. This one sold for $18.50, and a best offer was accepted on this coin. The next one that we have here is a centered Broadstrike. So the Broadstrike on this particular specimen is well centered. You have some of that even metal flow throughout. It's slightly off center, not too much. But you ask any error specialist and they'll say, yeah, this one's centered. And, you know, it doesn't take too much for the requirements in order for that to occur. The coin is probably close sized to a quarter. So when the metal flow just comes right out, you can expect these coins for the denomination to do a next size up is what they call it. So nickels will look like quarters, dimes will look like pennies as far as their overall diameter. And, you know, again, it's all good. This is a high grade 99 Philadelphia nickel. Pretty nice. Even looks like it has full steps, you know, if that's your thing. But this one right here is sold for $22.79. Cool error. I like these. All right, so here's a coin that would fool most people. Now, the first thing you'll notice is it's a Canadian cent, number one. Number two, the coin has circulated quite a bit. All right, so at first glance, people say, oh man, this thing's damaged, right? Well, not so there, Johnny. This coin actually has an indent, a strike-through of sorts. Nice elliptical type of pattern right here. You could still see some of the design devices. So there was something that overlaid onto the planchet before it was struck, and it was either a cap die that was way off center or off to the side. And it was still able to strike some of the reverse details, as you can see. But it's a late enough stage cap or strike through where you could see some of the ghosting effects of the normal reverse design. Just incredible looking coin. Again, Canadian coins, if you could find them with errors, has a really dedicated base of collectors, and they pay quite a bit of money for coins like this. This particular coin sold for $62.79 US. Again, a remarkable coin, and it just goes to show you, don't leave no stone unturned, regardless of what it looks like. It's even got crud and grease and all that great stuff on there, so that would detract most people. All right, so here's a 64. This is a Philadelphia Washington quarter. So it's the last final year of the 90% silver planchets. This one features a pretty epic ragged clip. So this is an end of strip punch out previous to the strike, obviously. But the coin looks pretty nice. I mean, the pictures, this one I had to lighten up just a hair. I don't like to modify seller photos just to keep them kind of like, in their current state at the time of sale. But this one right here was way too dark to show on my channel. So I figured I'd go ahead and lighten them up just a hair. And you can see, it's a ragged clip, it looks like it was a piece of paper that was torn in half. As opposed to a standard clip where it's either going to be straight or it's going to be slightly curved or a deeper curve. You never know. But this is a pretty cool error. This one right here sold for $54.20. A best offer was accepted for this coin. Oh boy, so here's everyone's favorite kind of like minor error, okay? These things exist in huge quantities out there in circulation, so if you're east of the Mississippi, congratulations. This is a coin that every time you find it, you can make anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks a pop. And what are we talking about here on this Kansas State quarter? It's missing the T. This is referred to as the In God We Rust quarter. Much in the same kind of like vein as the Spitting Eagle reverse on the quarters, or the Spitting Horse on the Delaware State quarters. This is just yet again another impassioned variant type of error that people like to, for whatever reason, buy. Okay, and probably spend more money than what it's worth. Again, the coin is not a mid-state high-grade coin. The coin has many nicks. It's circulated. It has just an even kind of circulated silver color to it. But what it really comes down to is just a little bit of a clogged die. A little bit of grease and debris filled the T on the obverse die, and that's why it looks like it's missing a T, even though you can see a little remnants there of the T entrust. So what did this thing sell for? How about $19.70? And these only exist on the Philadelphia coins. So take that and remember that, put it in your memory bank as another coin that you could find out there in the wild. All right, so this one is just an overall cool error. Highly unlikely that you'll ever find one of these in circulation, but what we have here is a 69D Roosevelt dime. This one is double struck. The second strike is probably 90-95% off center. It's a uniface, which means on one side you don't have any design details. On the reverse, you can see the regular obverse, and then you can see a little snippet of the second strike where it says dime. I mean, it's just cool. And you have a full date. That's important. Full date on this type of coin, matters. If you can identify the date and, that sort of thing, even the mint mark, there are people that collect these by the date. All right. And they're trying to look for double struck coins for every single date in the series. So that's important too. This one sold for $57.99. A best offer was accepted for this particular coin. Just pretty neat. Pretty neat. Obviously, it's something that was in a collection. And oh, by the way, that lipstick red background is epic in this one. All right, so this one's interesting. So I'm going to talk about this one just for a moment. This is an Indian head cent, and it looks like it's very weakly struck. All right, so it's either going to be one or two things. The seller has pitched this coin as a die adjustment strike, and die trials for early coins of this nature are extremely rare. They are incredibly scarce. So this is an interesting one, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna give you guys kind of like this question: is this a die adjustment strike? Keeping in mind some of the things that, you know, for a lot of you seasoned error collectors, you guys know what to look for on a DAS, or was this one struck just with a bunch of greasy dies? All right, so I'm gonna let you guys kind of chew on that one for about 10 minutes while we go through the rest of the group, and then we'll revisit this at the end. And let's see if you guys are right. All right, I think you guys will be surprised at what I find on this one. The next coin that we have here is just an overall pleasing 1984 Washington quarter. The only thing that we don't know about this coin is what the mint mark is. It's either Philadelphia or Denver, because it's a business strike coin. But this is a very tough date to find off-center strikes, and the only thing that would make this one extraordinary is a mint mark. But that's okay. This one is struck about 65%, and it's sold for $50. Yeah, you can't go wrong. And you know, it's just a really nice high grade error. All right, guys, make sure you check out your scrap silver. Here's another one to add to your old find list. It's a 1964D Roosevelt dime. Okay, this one exhibits a little bit of a partial collar. All right, so the coin wasn't completely held in place correctly with the collars. But the most remarkable part about this coin is it has a huge strike through on the reverse. I don't know if you guys see that right here on the reverse. But this thing is a dual error, and dual errors I think are just cool. This one also helps that it is a really nice high grade mid-state coin. This one right here sold for a whopping $76.88. You would be surprised how many of these are overlooked in scrap silver. You know, for those of you that like to hoard 90% silver, make sure you check for stuff like this, let alone all different types of other errors as well. All right, so we have one piece of currency, and this is the only one we have, but it's very relevant. So this is a 1923 Spielman White $1 Federal Reserve note. Actually, this is a silver certificate with the blue seals. But this one right here is just a common, you know, 23 Spielman White. Was it Freeburg 237, if I'm not mistaken, catalog wise. But this one right here generally is like a $20 to $25 note in this condition. However, it's a real game changer when it has a printed inverse back. I mean, come on now. You know, the craziest part about this whole thing is that the note has circulated quite a bit. I would say it's probably a fine 12 on the grading scale. But yeah, the whole entire second print, or the back side of this particular sheet, was printed upside down. I mean, how can you screw up that badly and then send this one into circulation? I mean, given the times, you know, 1920 to 1935 when these things were being printed, it really didn't matter. It was Great Depression time. Quality stunk up the joint at the BEP and the U.S. Mint. So it's no surprise that this one even made it out. But, you know, for those of you that like older notes, yeah, inverse backs do exist, and they can be found. I've found a few myself on like silver certificates and the like. But very fun, and they're quite valuable. This one only brought home $695. And it's ungraded. Now that's some silliness right there. All right, so this coin may look familiar because it is indeed the thumbnail photo. This 95 Lincoln Memorial Cent is a beater. I mean, this thing more than likely, I mean, just based off of the green corrosion right here on the obverse and the reverse and little spots here and there. This one was somewhere where there was a lot of moisture, or the good old what I like to call cup holder, soda coaster is what I like to call this. A lot of sweat coming off of that 7-Eleven, 32-ounce drink and then onto this coin. And it was all curtains. But what do we have here? This coin is here for a reason. It is indeed the doubled die obverse. Very plentiful variety, might I add. They're not exactly rare. And this one has very strong doubling, as you would expect for the type. So it's an FS101. This one right here sold for $17.51 in this condition. Just amazing. Even on these close-ups here, you can see all of the gunk and corrosion. Still a desirable coin because of what it is. And these things in mid-state typically sell for 40 to 60 bucks, depending on overall eye appeal of the coin. All right, not fantastic photos, but we do know it's a Roosevelt dime. Now, the reverse is very well struck on this coin, but what's happening there on the front? Well, this one is struck through a late-stage die cap. How cool is that? To a lot of people, someone will look at this and say, okay, this one is very worn, or something damaged this coin. Okay, now if you know your US Mint errors, okay, you know exactly what this is at first glance. This coin right here is looks like a 91p is what the seller determined. It kind of looks like that, I would say. Sold for $29. Not bad, right? So make sure you look out for these. Now, this coin is on the list because I had a couple people reach out to me and ask, well, I like to collect old classic coins, like federal age, like, early 1800s, up all the way up till like the Civil War dates. And one of them had said, well, I have the opportunity to purchase a couple US Mint errors on some of these older coins. How much of a premium should I expect to pay for these? And I can honestly say, well, it really depends on what error you found. Okay, and number two, the overall condition of the coin. So we have an 1827 capped bust $50, just a supreme specimen. It's got just the right amount of wear. It's all original. It's been untampered with, never been dipped or cleaned. This is a just consummate, honest looking coin. But what is going on the front of that coin? Well, you've probably seen this before, but it's like a planchet flaw or a lamination, all right, which has decimated about 30% of the coin's face. And Lady Liberty's front of her face looks like a skeleton. It's creepy. But anyways, how does something like this affect the value? Okay, is it more of a positive plus sign type thing, or is this more of a negative factor on the coin? Well, on the older coins such as this, okay, the minor type of errors, whether it's like a planchet flaw or maybe a fissure or a lamination or a strike through, these all actually have the opposite effect in terms of value of older coins. A coin of this type is probably about $100 to $125 all day long in this condition. However, because of the lamination, the planchet flaw on the obverse, it has killed its value. Believe it or not. I mean, how could it kill the value of a coin? But case in point, this one sold for only $62.95. Let that sink in for those of you that are interested in this type of error. Okay, now there are certain errors that I would particularly go for. I mean, some of those rare errors like full mirrored brockages or double struck or triple struck coins of these older types are, no doubt about it, a more desirable type of error, and they will add just significant and probably exponential premiums on the coins, whereas the minor errors would kill the value. All right, because the eye appeal is shot at that case. It's just funny how things are on these older coins in comparison to the newer coins. So make sure you keep that in mind. Now here's a coin that I would say has the typical modern effect. It's the 1921 S Morgan dollar, very common in your silver melt bins. I mean, this one right here is a silver melt bin piece. It's got a bunch of carbon spots. Maybe a little bit of light cleaning on there. But it does have a rim clip, right? With a little bit of Blakesley effect here. You see the flattening of this opposite edge. Keep an eye out for these guys. Okay, because what? You would pay about $20, $21, $22 silver melt value for a Morgan in a scrap silver bin. And this one right here was a nice quick flip at $62.95 because of that little lone rim clip. Crazy, huh? I found quite a few of these in Strikethroughs, and they are great to pull out because you could double up your money anytime. Not a great looking coin, but this 1940D has a nice comet-sized type of lamination on the obverse. Again, it's a beater, but don't overlook the beaters because these have hidden value. This one sold for $16.50, believe it or not. All right, and you're like, who in the world would pay for that? But sure enough, it's a solid sale right there. All right, some more silver melt. We got a 64 Philadelphia Washington quarter. Now, you guys will be doing yourself just a huge disservice if you don't ever look for RPMs and doubled dies on the 64s, whether they're a Denver or a Philadelphia, because you're going to miss out on something like this. This is a DDR FS801. This is the big dog, and this coin right here is scrap silver all day long. You can see all of the doubling on all these letters on quarter dollar. And you can even see them on the leaves right here. Pretty cool. You can see some of that splitting. This is really cool. I found probably a good half a dozen of these through my silver searches, and these are fun to find. And you'll spend $4 or $5 for the quarter out of a silver melt bin, but in this particular case, this one sold for $95. Easy money. You need the money. Go to a coin shop and do some cherry picking. That's where it's at. All right, so we have a incredible looking double struck Lincoln Memorial set. Now this is a copper coated zinc. You can see all sorts of exposed zinc. So I'm gonna throw a little caution your way if this is your guilty pleasure. But this one right here has two very distinguishable dates on the main strike and then the secondary strike, which appears to be about 75-80% off center. You have a uniface on the reverse, but the coin has quite a bit of issues. You have a lot of carboning spots and areas, and you have a lot of exposed zinc core on this one. So depending on where you live at, if there's a lot of moisture, that'll actually do more harm on this particular coin. So storage is going to be key. Use your silica gel packs is what they call it. They actually look like rosin bags, like if you're a bowler or a baseball player. But they're like that size. Throw one of those into your safe or in your closet, wherever you store these things. But that'll ensure that it keeps moisture away from coins like this that are very susceptible to further damage as a result of moisture. This one right here sold for $165. A best offer was accepted. Again, dual date double struck coins are very desirable. This one is just a risk to buy because of the exposure of the zinc all over the coin. All right, guys, we got a couple more coins left. We got 79 Lincoln Memorial cent. This one is off center by, I would say, like 60%. I mean, it's solid. It's got a full date. It's got a nice red-brown patina to it, albeit it's got that big old spot on the reverse. This one sold for $36.99. What's really cool, that really set this one apart, is this. When you look at the reverse and everything here, how all the letters just stretch, back into the blank right there. It's just cool to look at. You can look at stuff like this all day long and just gloss over it like it's modern art, and that's why people love collecting off-center struck coins. All right, and then finally, for you $half hunters out there, okay, this coin will trick and fool your eyes quite a bit. It's a 88p Kennedy $half. There's something going on the reverse. It looks like it took a great big hit, but that's an awfully deep impression on the reverse. I mean, you guys see it right there? The only thing is with this coin if it was, hit or something fell on it, you would see a bend or an impression go through this area of the coin, but there isn't. So that makes this one a strike through. A piece of metal or a wood fragment or something of that sort had fallen onto the planchette before it was struck. Incredible. Here's a close-up view. You can see there's no buildup around the edge, which indicates it's not, post-mint damage. Really cool. So $50 hunters, look out for stuff like this because they pop up when you least expect it. This one sold for $23.50. Now, getting back to that Indian head scent. Is it a strike through? Is it a die adjustment strike? I actually forgot to put the image back up on the back end of this video, but anyways, I wanted to show you guys this particular article on Mint Error News. Okay, this is a really cool website. I really have to join them so I could get that newsletter every month. But this is an article written by Zan Chamberlain a number of years back on a few of the interesting Indian head scent errors. So the first one is this just incredible obverse brockage, completely mirrored. Yeah, and then here's the backside of the coin, which is all flared out. It's just an insane looking coin. But the most important part, because of the video, is going to be this one, this die adjustment strike. Does this look familiar? This looks almost exactly like the coin that I profiled as a sale from a day ago. All right, so you still have, which is incredible because normally you wouldn't see the upset rims, but this one has it, and so does the other. But you have the same type of weakening on all of the devices, and I would have to say that the coin that was sold is indeed a genuine die adjustment strike. They are incredibly rare. And again, that particular coin sold for only $68.90, which is a tremendous bargain in my book. Because, again, die trials where they're testing out pressurization of the strikes is very rare because they usually toss those coins out. So there you go. That is what we got there for the die adjustment strike. So if you guessed that, congratulations. Who would have thought? But that's going to do it, guys, for this one. Happy New Year yet again. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful weekend. Go out there and do some hunting. Let's change the game up a little bit. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Take care. Be well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that bell for instant notifications. And as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together every single day. So I look forward to hearing about your finds and exploits. And I will see you on the next coin video. Take care.